Hello!
So today we are doing a college tips and tricks advice type video.
Yeah, so I'm a junior in college, obviously. I am a religious studies and English double major.
Cool. Yes. I'm a senior and I'm majoring in theater. So that's a little bit about where we are, what we're doing. So basically we just have some tips about what to bring, what not to bring, classes, scheduling, free
Setting
time.
habits, free time.
Yeah, so let's get started. So first we have what to bring if you're living on campus in a dorm, some advice of what to bring and what not to bring. Obviously if we say something don't bring it and you feel like you need it, bring it. It's not gonna hurt you. Just in our experience, some things that we found useful and not useful.
Yeah, so a must is shower shoes. God only knows what is living on those shower floors. I'm gonna say it, they're nasty, they're disgusting. If you want to protect yourself from fungus, just bring the shower shoes. Target normally has them. I'm pretty sure I got mine in the dollar section at Target. I have 2 pairs, literally $1. They don't have to be specifically they don't have to say shower shoe on them. It could just be a pair of flip-flops, cheap flip-flops. But yeah, that's for sure a must.
Yeah. Shower caddy to carry to and from the bathroom with your soap, your shampoo, your face wash, toothbrush, toothpaste, anything you want to just have. Get a shower caddy so that you can carry it all in one thing. And we like the mesh ones. The plastic ones are good too, but they tend to fill with water sometimes.
And they can get really moldy if you're not super careful. So the mesh ones, I would put my stuff in wet all the time, and it sinks through and it just dries because they're the mesh ones have a bunch of holes. Yeah. So nothing gets trapped in there. It's really good. For as far as bedding goes, obviously bring bedding, a comforter. They have comforter sets again. Target, really good deals.
Bed Bath & Beyond also has a lot of college.
Yeah. Or you can just get a duvet cover to just put over your sheets. But a mattress topper is a must. Dorm beds are not the most comfortable. Beds are normally pretty hard and pretty thin, so just a couple inch thick mattress topper just to add some cushion really helps.
Yeah. And you said a steamer. I personally didn't bring a steamer, but
I didn't bring a steamer my first year, and then my roommate and I got one for our second year, and it was so nice because you don't have a ton of necessarily closet space, so I would have to fold a lot of my shirts and just stick them in the drawer, and they would get all wrinkly. And so the steamer, it literally took 5 seconds in the morning, and you literally just go up and down, and it gets all your wrinkles out super quick. Takes 2 minutes tops. It's really good, way better than an iron. That's the whole process. So
yeah. You also, if you can fit or if you have one, a mini fridge is very helpful. Or also bring snacks and food you can have in your room, because there are dining halls and there are places to get food on campus, and obviously that's probably the primary places you're gonna eat. But snacks and things to have in your room that you can eat if you just don't want to leave your room, or breakfast things if it's early, just things you can snack on and have essentially if you don't feel going to the dining hall or whatever.
Yeah, and especially if you're super particular about how your food is prepared, or you're really trying to eat healthy, it's pretty hard because you don't if you go to the dining halls, you don't have a lot of control about how the food's prepared or what's in the food. So I know for me, I kept a lot of breakfast food in my room, so I would eat breakfast in my room, just things like oatmeal, protein bars, and then I would have microwavable mac and cheese, or just I had a fridge, so I would buy fruit and just stick it in there, and it helps.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cleaning products. Bring cleaning products like Lysol wipes. If you can get a little broom and dustpan, anything basically. People a lot of the time will forget, but it is still a room and a living space, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like you won't, like, you don't have to be like a dirty person. Like my roommate and I are so neat, but like every few weeks we would find like a bunch of hair on our rug because we shed, or like just like dust that collects over time. So like we had a little hand vac, which was super nice. But yeah, just like, and like multi-purpose surface cleaners, especially because, you know, we're in the time of a global pandemic, so you probably want to be like as clean as possible.
Yeah.
Extra storage is a must. I know you lofted your bed too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of people will loft their beds all the way up and like store, but like the majority of my stuff gets stored under my bed. So I have like 3 like tiered rolly drawer under there. I have a huge like pink, those like trunk things that I put under there. A lot of canvas bins just to store like extra sheets and towels and all of that stuff. So I would say like little bins, even to put like on top of your desk or on top of like your dresser, just to make everything look neat and have like a dedicated place for everything. It helps a lot.
Yeah. Water bottles, like reusable water bottles, reusable cups, reusable silverware or plastic silverware. Also, if you want to get just like a pack of like water bottles, like Zephyr Hills or you know, whatever, like just don't forget that you will need water.
Yeah.
Or something to drink.
Exactly.
So any sort of cup, you know, if you also want to bring like bowls and things, like, you know, you don't have to bring like your entire kitchen, but just like a couple that you can just clean out every so often, just so again, like if you need something, you don't have to leave your room every time.
Yeah.
If you
and like you can literally bring, like I'm pretty sure I have 2 bowls and 2 plates, and then like a pack of reusable silverware, and like a couple cups. Target literally has them for 75 cents, and they're like in the dorm section, which is really good. And it saves time. And then obviously like you want to have like some type of sponge and like dish soap if you are gonna go the dishes route. Just like make sure you can, you know, clean them every once in a while.
We should do that one last.
Okay,
so the next one is a printer. I personally brought a printer, Eve didn't. It's not essential, like there are places to print on campus. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it'll cost like 20 cents a page, something like that. I thought it was helpful to have a printer because I could print anything I wanted anytime I wanted and it was free. But you don't have to have a printer because...
Yeah, especially if you have like a smaller campus. Like I go to a school where we only have like 3,200 kids total, so like I can get across campus in like 10 minutes. So the library is always relatively close. I will say though, again, like even if you want to get like a little small cheap printer, it could be useful because I know that for me, sometimes I would forget that I need to print something and it would be like 9 p.m. and I would literally like be like ready for bed in my pajamas, and I would have to like get up and like literally walk across campus to go print something. But again, not really like essential because you're gonna have access to free printing on campus.
Yeah.
Laundry stuff. Laundry bin, bag, whatever you prefer. I know some of my friends like to just have laundry baskets. Some of them have like laundry like bags. I had a canvas bin that I got from Amazon that literally just said laundry on it. It was pretty big, which was good because I only did laundry once a week. I did my laundry every Friday, so it would hold all my stuff for the week, and it was good. Detergent or Tide or like pods, whatever you want to use, and then fabric softener also is a nice little touch just to like keep your stuff soft and just like, you know, feeling cozy. But yeah, unfortunately, laundry stuff is a big deal, and you need it. Like, there's absolutely no way around it, basically.
Yeah. Now, this last one is like a special bonus.
Yeah.
From Eve.
Yeah. So, I recommend getting a fish. And now, this might sound outlandish, strange. It probably is, but I was really lonely because I go to school out of state, all the way in Massachusetts, and my first year was really hard. So about halfway through the year, I went to PetSmart, and my best friend came with me, and because she had a fish, and I decided that, you know what, I need a little buddy. So I got a fish. His name was Captain Jack. He was a beta, lived for like a year and a half. Sadly, CJ has passed away. But it was a good companion. He sat on my desk. He had a little 2-gallon tank. Every time I would come in, he would wave to me. He was just, it was nice to have a little buddy to come back to. Also, like succulents. I had a lot of succulents too, which could be, you know, it's just like another thing that can like make it feel more like home. But yeah, I highly recommend a fish. Great little buddy.
Yeah, so that's what we suggest, some ideas of what you could bring. Now, some suggestions for what not to bring. Again, if you feel you need these things, bring them.
Bring 'em.
But this is just in our experience what we found not to be essential. So don't bring too many clothes, t-shirts, high school t-shirts. Don't bring too many. You will be surprised. I mean, bring enough so you don't have to do laundry like every day. But like, if you do laundry once a week, once every other week, you'll be fine with not that many things. And you get a lot of free t-shirts and free shirts on campus. So don't bring your entire closet. Bring also what's like seasonal depending on where you live. Like, you know, if you're gonna go home like after the semester, then you can switch up like what you're bringing. Don't bring too many shoes either. Don't bring like a ton of heels. Don't bring crazy things like that, because in our experience, we didn't really use that many different shoes.
And then it gets annoying when they're just sitting in the closet taking up space. But especially in my case, like, because I go to school out of state, it's not like I can like drive them home or like easily send them home, so it was really frustrating. An ironing board, I had one my first year and it never got opened out of the plastic. I never used it. Again, if you want something to like keep your clothes neat and like wrinkle free, I highly recommend a steamer. It's just so much easier than having to have like whip out your ironing board and like heat up the iron, and it's a whole process. So in my experience, did not use it whatsoever. Good thing it was only a mini one. It was super cheap, but it was definitely like a wasted purchase for me.
Don't bring an excess of anything that you don't deem really necessary. Like, bring the things that you know you'll use every day, but you really don't spend that much time in your room. And like, when you are, like, you're usually like watching a show or doing homework. Like, there's not a lot of time where you're just like, literally what do I do? Like, there's always something to do. So just don't bring an excess of anything, and especially things you can buy while you're settling into your room, or a week or two later when you're like, oh, I really needed that. Like, if it's something you absolutely cannot buy and you need from home, bring it. But if it's like, you know, we have school supplies, sheets and towels, like, don't bring an excess of these things. You can wash them, you can buy them. You don't want to have too much, because some rooms are pretty small, and once you have that stuff in your room, sometimes it's hard to get it out.
Rid of it, yeah.
So just don't bring too much of anything, because you really won't need it.
This next one I struggle with literally every single year. It's don't bring too many books, like books for leisure or just like books that you enjoy, like having on your bookshelf at home. Like, don't get me wrong, you will have time to read if that's what you're into, but especially me being an English major, I acquire so many books. Well, both my majors, like, I acquire so many books over the course of the year that I end up with a ton by the end. And then it's like having to sort through them and move them in, move them out every time. So just like, you know, obviously like bring your favorites, but just don't bring like your whole home library, because you will probably get more books throughout the year that you will enjoy.
Yeah. Just don't bring your entire bedroom.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, it's again, the essentials, things you know you'll use every day, things you might like. A deck of cards could be fun, a board game or two could be fun. But just don't bring everything.
Yeah.
Don't bring like all your decorations. Don't like take apart your entire bedroom, because again, you can always get things while you're at school.
Yeah.
So this last one we thought was funny. Don't bring drama.
Especially like your high school drama, anything to do with high school, really.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, when you go to college, nobody cares about your high school. Like, they can't, like, your friends are gonna care like what your experience in high school was, but they're not, like, even your friends aren't gonna care about like the drama you went through or like all the little like nitty-gritty details. So just like don't bring that baggage with you to college, because again, like, you all start on the same playing field, so there's no need to kind of like live and dwell in the past. It just makes things a lot harder.
Yeah, just be chill.
Yeah.
Just, you know, do what you've got to do, but just don't start drama with people. It's not about that in college. High school is a lot of like, she said, he said, whatever, but in college
is
everyone's
like that,
doing their own thing. Nobody cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
So our next category is like couple tips for classes. So I know high school for a lot of people starts around 7 a.m. or at least where we're from, like pretty early. Don't take the 8 a.m. classes. You may be like, oh my god, it's an hour later. Like, I'm so used to getting up early, it'll be fine. Like, don't.
It's really hard, and this is coming, like, I'm a morning person, and so I took an 8 a.m. thinking like, oh, I get up early anyway, but I would say if they start at 8:30, golden. Go for it. You'd be surprised how much that half hour does, but going my 8 a.m. 4 days a week was such a struggle. And again, like, I'm a morning person. I have a whole morning routine that I love doing, but it was so hard to have to get up every single day so early to go to class.
Yeah, and
So
obviously, if you have to take the 8 a.m., it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But if you don't have to,
Just don't take
maybe
it.
don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to, if that's something you really like, if you get up at 6 a.m. every day anyway, and you're like, you know what, I'm up, you know what, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of like, I don't know, like there's an 8 or there's an 11, take the 11.
Take the 11.
Take the 9:30.
Yeah.
Like 9:30 is even fine.
Yeah,
Just
that
try
works good.
if you can to avoid the 8 a.m.
Yes. You don't want to overload your course schedule, especially if you're a freshman, like you're going into college. You don't want to start off big. We were trying to brainstorm, and we would say like maybe like 12 to 15 credits, because there's also this thing called add drop week. So if you don't have a limit to how many courses you can take, and you want to maybe add another one after you had a few days in class, you can see that you can like hack it, do that. But if you start off taking like 18 or 20 or like 18 credits, it's just that it can be a lot. It's pretty overwhelming. Not to say that college is necessarily like difficult, but it's definitely like, it's a ton of work. It's a ton of self-directed learning, and nobody's going to tell you to do it. You are the prime motivator of you. So just be careful when you're seeing like how many courses you want to take.
Yeah, and another tip for classes is read the syllabus.
Yeah.
Like, you might, like in high school, you know, you're like, yeah, whatever, like they always make syllabuses. In college, you could have a test that your teacher doesn't even tell you about, and they'll go, it was on the syllabus.
Yeah.
Like, so just read the syllabus.
Most of them, actually, at least most of my professors, will not address when you have assignments due other than like papers, because normally, like, you know, they'll have extra office hours, which again, you should go to. Office hours, phenomenal. But they will give you the syllabus at the beginning, and that is your calendar. You have every single date from the literal start of the semester to the very end of your semester, and you're accountable for any of it. So if you have a test on 2 weeks from when you start, they're not going to keep reminding you every day. They're going to expect you 2 weeks from now to show up with your pen and be ready to take the test.
Yeah. If you're not sure of your major or what you want to do, take a variety of classes, take a variety of things you're interested to. It's not a rush to graduate. It's not a race. Like, you want to get a degree that you're going to use and you're going to like. So if you're not really 100% sure, you know, take a class in criminology, take a class in English, take a class in science, and, you know, use that first semester or first year to really figure out what you want to do and what you really like. It's not a problem. Even if you change your major halfway through, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But in the beginning, if you want to take a variety of classes just to see what you like, that's, you know, something you could do.
Yeah, a lot of my friends do that, and they're so grateful for it now, for sure. And because college is a place to do that. Like, obviously, like, you have to complete your majors, like whether you have 1 or 2 majors and your minors, like, you have a set number of courses you have to take. But like, I know for me, I have also a set amount of courses that I have to take outside of my major in order to graduate, and those can literally be anything. And like, I'm taking a hip hop class in the fall, and I'm, you know, like, it's not like I want to pursue dancing, but it's gonna be fun and it's gonna fulfill my arts credit. So just like, college is the time to literally take all these cool classes that you're probably never gonna have access to again.
Yeah. So our next category is study habits. Tips for studying for tests, just studying in general.
So what I like to do, aside from, obviously, like, this semester is a little different because, I mean, like, we're doing fully online. A lot of colleges are, or they're doing like a hybrid model. So I know my school, all of our times got changed. So like, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm gonna have 2 to 3 classes like pretty close together, just because they're online and like they had to shift. But normally how I schedule my classes are, I like to have like 1 to 2 hour chunks in between them. I think 2 hours is like my sweet spot, because in between I like to do homework from the class that I just got out of. So by the time like 6-7 p.m. rolls around, I'm done for the day and I can just relax and enjoy. So I would highly recommend, if you have like hours in between your classes, to use that time to maybe go over material that you just went over in class or start your homework or start making, study material, you'll thank yourself for it when the nighttime rolls around.
Yeah. When you're studying, write things down. Eve suggested using flashcards or just, writing things down really helps. Just helps you retain, or saying things out loud to yourself, or having like a friend quiz you, like things like that. But like flashcards and like writing things down is really helpful.
Yeah. There 100% is a thing as too much studying, especially if you're taking a course that comes like relatively easy to you, or it doesn't even have to come easy, but if you're doing a unit and you've prepared like up until like throughout the course for this, like for your test, there is a time when it's okay to call it quits. I know that's something that I struggle with. I always feel like guilty about it, even if like I'm going through my flashcards and I know every single one. There comes a point where your brain is just not going to absorb any more information because you know the majority of it, or at least like you're just set, like you're ready. So don't get caught up in having to study the most, or like dedicate all of your time studying, because there is for sure a thing as too much studying.
Yeah. When you're in class, take notes, whether it be writing down on a laptop, on a tablet. Take notes because you won't remember. Yeah. Like while you're sitting there, I did this all the time. While I was sitting in class, I was like, well, duh, obviously I'll remember that, like easy. And then you leave the class and you go on with your day, or you have 2 more classes and then you're like, oh, no. So, I mean, maybe you have a great memory and you will remember, but don't rely on that. Have it written down so you can have something back to refer to, and highlight after, like in your class, take notes on everything, and then when you leave the class, go back through and highlight what you think is the most important, what your teacher reiterated, what your teacher said will be on the test maybe, things like that. Just go back through and kind of like, I recommend after class you go through your notes, and that's a way of studying without studying. Like every so often just read through your notes and it'll start sinking in, and when you go to study, it'll be easier.
The last thing we have to talk about with studying is forming study groups. I would say that groups of like 3 to 5 people are like the sweet spot, good number. If the group starts to get too big, it starts to get chaotic and overwhelming, and you have too many people trying to figure out like what you should be doing, how you should be studying. But if you have like a small, pretty solid group, study groups are normally pretty effective, because maybe there's something that you have down really well that one of your friends in your study group needs help explaining. You can explain that to them, and again, that's a form of studying for you without really like sitting down and having to like write more or highlight. Because if you're able to explain to someone else, then you can do it pretty well, and they understand it, and they are able to ask you questions. You're reinforcing that in your brain, which is really good. If study groups get too big also, which is always my problem, because all of my friends like to study together and just like sit in a study room and do our work together, it becomes like 20% studying and like 80% like clownery. So I would say like just be careful about how big you let your study groups get.
Yeah. Our next category is like social life, campus life. So a tip for like if you're an incoming freshman, or if you don't really have like a big friend group, or you just want to meet people, go to the campus events like in the beginning of the semester. A lot of times there'll be like freshman things, or just like trivia nights, or like whatever. And it's, even if you have a ton of friends and you know a ton of people, it's still just good to get acquainted with more people, find people that maybe are interested in things you're interested in, or just finding things to do. If you're bored and you don't have anything to do, like go to those campus events, even if you think they're like lame or you're not really into school spirit, like just go.
They could be fun.
Yeah.
Most of them are actually really fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to become someone that you aren't. So for like me, I am just not really into partying. I'm not really into staying up late, and it took me a while to realize that like, oh wait, like that's okay. Like I don't have to say yes to every time a friend asks me to like do something late, even if it's just like going to another friend's dorm. Like if it's too late for me and I don't want to do that, I can say no, and it's perfectly okay. Again, I would say like try everything, like go to a party and see how you like it, especially like if you've never been to one. See how it is. Like that might be your thing. But just like don't feel like you have to become someone you're not just because you're in this like new chapter of your life.
Yeah, you will find people who are like similar to you and like things you like, so you don't have to force it.
Yeah.
don't like solely live in your room. Like go to events, go to like dining halls, like just walk around, go to the library, like don't just live in your room. Like I know when I lived in a dorm my first semester, the people on the floor would have like game nights where everyone would go and like what is it called? Like common room and like play board games or play cards. Like even if that's not really your thing, like get to know the people who are living around you. It can't hurt and you can make friends. So like don't like solely just stay in your room and like just go to class and come back and go to class and come back. Like try to find people, try to meet people, hang out with your friends. Like even if you're just by yourself, like go sit in the dining hall and do homework or just things like that. Like just get out of your room.
Yeah. Also make sure you're making time to hang out with your friends. Obviously like academics are the primary reason why a lot of people go to college, which is great because we all want jobs in the future and academics are really important, but also like college life is really important, like being able to go to events with friends or like even just like going on a Target trip together, just like little things, or like going to the dining hall and just like having a meal. Just make sure you're making time for friends and meeting new people, and just like in recreation, if you like going to the gym or you like going for walks, like make time for that because that's honestly just as important as the academic part of going to college.
Yeah. And lastly, don't overload your schedule. Like you can find a good healthy balance of homework, alone time, hanging with friends. But you don't have to go to every single event every time. Like you can go to one and realize maybe it wasn't, your favorite. You don't go next time. And don't feel like you have to hang out with people 24/7 just because they ask. And don't only do homework. Don't only be, sitting in your room alone. Like have a healthy balance and just don't overload your schedule of things that you always have to be doing, because sometimes it is nice just to have time to scroll on your phone or just watch a TV show. Like allow time to do nothing, because otherwise it can get a little stressful. Like don't feel like you have to do anything.
Our last category we have is just talking about like school supplies, things that really help us, things that we like using. The first is honestly probably like the main one, I would say, for both of us. It's a planner. We just got our 2020-2021 planners at Target the other day, and having a planner is so important. Even if you don't have like the traditional planner, even if you're more of like you just want to get, like I have friends who do like just a plain sketchbook and they'll make it like all pretty and they'll like design their own planner, or if you just have one of those desk calendars that you write everything on, but have something that you write on. I wouldn't just put it in my notes in my phone. If you're gonna go like the digital route, I would say Google Calendar is really good, or they have apps that are like planners if you want to go that route. But it's so important to have a dedicated space to write down when all of your assignments are due. Like one of the first things I do after my new classes for the semester, I take the syllabus and I write down every single date on like the main calendar spread in the planner, just so it reinforces to me when things are due. Because again, you're probably not going to get reminded, and it's really easy to forget, especially if you're taking like 4 to 6 classes. There's a lot going on all the time. So I literally cannot stress enough how important a planner is, or some dedicated area where you write down all of your work and assignments.
Yeah. Next, have a backpack or a bag of some sort. Like don't just grab the one book you need and bring it to your class, because it's nice to always have everything. I mean, you don't have to bring like all of your school books everywhere, but like your notebooks, your planner, like whatever you're using as school supplies, keep them all in a backpack. That way if you go to class and then want to go to the library and then you have a next class, you don't have to go back and forth and just carry around like books like loosely. Plus backpacks are nice to keep your phone, like your headphones, your laptop. Like it's just a nice space to have a thing like just full of all of your things, I guess. But that doesn't really make sense.
You know what we
know what I mean? Like backpacks or a bag or anything is just very helpful to contain all of your things and just grab it and go.
Next thing is notebooks. So it's going to depend on what kind of classes you're taking, like what, which is going to be dictated a lot of times by your major. So me being 2 majors that basically only like solely involve reading and writing, I like to separate all of my classes. So I get a notebook for every single class. I don't get like huge notebooks. I normally use like Moleskine or like Muji notebooks, which are like very thin, college ruled, just like I know what you, like not mesh, but just like flimsy, just because they're light and they're easy to throw in, especially if I have like 4 classes that day. It's not, my backpack isn't going to be like super weighed down by all my notebooks. But for me, I like to separate them just because all of my classes end up being lectures most of the time, or even like my seminars and discussion classes, like you're constantly writing. So I just like to have all mine separate. I think you do it a little differently though.
Yeah, what I do, because I'm a theater major, I don't have a ton of like written classes. I have a lot of performance classes, like acting, dance, voice, whatever. So if I have like 3 lecture written classes, I'll get like a 3 subject notebook and just use 1 subject per class, because I like to just have everything contained and I don't have a ton of writing to do. So I'll just have like a planner and then a 3 subject notebook, and then that's pretty much all I carry around. But again, it's just personal preference, whatever works for you. Along with that, I'll have like a main folder or like a main binder, because sometimes in notebooks they don't have the little folder prongs, or not prongs, like pockets.
Yeah.
So I'll have like just a little folder or like a tiny little binder where I can put all the syllabuses. I can put random papers if I just want to, have random extra paper. Just like a main folder for like handouts, just anything like that, if your notebook doesn't have folder space.
Next is like writing utensils. So we pretty much exclusively just use pen. The high school program that I did, I really was only allowed to use pen anyway. All of my end of year exams had to be in pen, which I'm super thankful for, because sorry all you pencil lovers, I hate to break this to you. A lot of college professors require that you write everything and anything in pen. Especially tests and exams, midterms, finals, all of it has to be in pen. Again, it could depend on your majors. I don't know if, I'm trying to remember if I have a few friends who are math majors, but I think that their stuff also has to be in pen. I know like for me being an English major, it's literally exclusively pen all the time. So find pens that you like. Personally, I like the Papermate, just like black ballpoint pens, or now I'm using Muji pens, which you can get on Amazon. But they're just like, they're a little more inky and they just like look nice and they're easy to write with. But yes, find pens that you like, because you will probably only be using pen in college.
Yeah, make sure you also have, if you have like a ton of fun colors, make sure you do have blue and black.
Yeah.
Because for me, a lot of my teachers would say, do your tests in blue or black ink only.
Yeah.
So you can like do your notes and stuff in like fun colors, but do have those like blue and black pens. Yeah. Another thing that's helpful is a laptop or a computer or a tablet. I don't know, I just feel like that's really helpful for doing homework. A lot of homework and assignments can be online. And it's also good if you take notes that way. You can take notes and print them out, or just, study on your computer or a tablet. A lot of people, use computers and tablets in class.
Yeah, and most of your essays or like papers, they're gonna require to be typed. So it's gonna get kind of annoying if you have to go work at like a desktop in the library. Again, it's totally fine, and if you just want to go that route, like you do you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I use my computer every day. Like during the semester, so it's easy to have, and it's like always in my bag, so I have easy access to it like wherever I am.
Plus a lot of like the grading, the whole grading system, a lot of your emails, it'll all be on the computer.
Electronics, yeah.
Again, desktop completely fine. If you have to go to the library, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it is helpful. Even a tablet, like to just have in your room if you're like late night studying or finishing up an essay or something, it's just helpful to have. Also, another thing, once you turn in an assignment, do not delete it.
Yeah.
Keep it, because things can go wrong. They can assign another assignment that's a revision of the first assignment. So once you turn in an assignment, like a written essay or anything like that, don't delete it. Keep it.
Yeah. I've had professors email me a few times, because a lot of it you do upload through Moodle or through, I think some colleges use Canvas. And it's technology. It glitches, and it's not your fault, it's not the professor's fault, but sometimes you upload a file and it's corrupt, or it auto deletes. So it's gonna be pretty bad if you no longer have that assignment that you have to resubmit anymore. Also, sometimes professors will ask for your work. I know in one of my English classes, one of the last essays I wrote, my professor really loved it and she wanted a copy of it to keep without all her edits on it. So I thankfully had the assignment. I was able to just email it to her, no problem. But yeah, a lot of times professors will ask for duplicates or something could go wrong, and make sure you have, like, I don't delete any of my assignments. Even like I still have all my assignments for my first 2 years of college, just because I don't know, like you just never know.
I'm a little different. I literally just make a folder on my desktop and I just title it school or whatever, and I put all of my school assignments in that one folder for the whole semester. And then once the semester ends and grades are final and you know they're not going to ask for anything, like it's done, then I just delete the folder.
Yeah. I keep a lot of like my major classes. Let me revise that. My major classes I have all my work from, because a lot of times you will be able to apply for like awards or like cash awards or like scholarships, and it'll ask you to submit a piece of work from maybe like the religion paper you wrote or like an English paper you wrote, and I have all of that.
That's
just in
smart.
case I ever wanted to like
I don't have
submit for something. I have it all.
That's smart.
Yeah. And one of the last things we have is a pair of headphones. So I know AirPods are very in. You absolutely do not have to have AirPods. It took me a very long time to get AirPods.
Yeah.
Some type of headphone that is comfortable for you, that you're okay with wearing for hours at a time. Especially, I love to listen to music when I am doing work, especially if it's just writing or studying or even reading. I'll just put it on super low. But I like to have outside noise blocked out and just being kind of like chill and listening to what I want to listen to. So a good pair of headphones that you are comfortable with wearing for long periods of time, I would say, is a must.
Yeah. So that was just, basic skimming the surface of,
which was a lot.
Yeah, this is almost 40 minutes.
Yes.
But again, these are just our suggestions, just from our experiences. If things could be very different for you or your friends or your family, so this is just personally for us, just some ideas. Again, you don't have to go by any of this. But yeah, hopefully if you're an incoming freshman or if you just want to see what other people are bringing to college, hopefully this is helpful to you.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, put them in the comments and we can make like a answer video for like if you have any questions about anything that has to do with college, living in a dorm, not living in a dorm, because I don't live in a dorm anymore.
She's a commuter.
I'm a commuter. So if you have like any questions at all pertaining to anything about school, put them in the comments and we will make a video answering them. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Have a good day and thanks
Bye.
for watching.